Hello and welcome. It's me, Marls44, and I'm back with another Cardfight Vanguard Cranial 9 deck profile. Today's deck profile, we have the um Wet Dragon of Aqua Force. That sounds really lame. Gosh, Marls. I don't know what to call him, but we have Blue Wave Dragon, Tetra-drive Dragon. So, Mr. Tetra himself. Yeah, with the release of Booster Set 13, there's quite a few decks that I know pretty well, or know well enough that I can actually do deck profiles on. That was kind of why I mostly did decks that I was good at, because a lot of them that I've tried that uh, I'm, I know about them and such and how they work, are from Booster Set like 13, maybe 14 as well. But yeah, so with that, there'll be a lot more deck profiles now. And I gotta update some too. But anywho, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Tetra-drive Dragon and this new amazing card with this deck profile. So, let's begin. So our starter, Officer Cadet Erikk. So if you don't know his skill, Counterblast 1, put it in the soul, look at the top 5 cards at the top of your deck. Search for a grade 3 and put it into your hand. Well, grade 3 Aqua Force and put it into your hand. So the reason you want to play him is you want to get TransCore Dragon, your break ride, because TransCore really makes Aqua Force now, especially with, the type of meta. But it just really makes Aqua Force a monster, and it just completes the deck. It's hard to win without TransCore, even though it's a restanding Vanguard deck. It's still hard to win without it. It's just how it works. I've seen it fail when it doesn't get the TransCore. So TransCore is very important to Aqua Force right now. And I'm pretty sure every Aqua Force deck plays it right now. So yeah, it's really important, and you want to use Erikk to ensure the break ride for most of the time. Alright, let's move on to grade 3s. So, 4, Blue Wave Dragon, Tetra-drive Dragon. This monster of a grade 3. So, limit break 4. At the end of the battle, let this unit attack the Vanguard. If it's the second battle of the turn, this unit gets Auto Vanguard, you counterblast 2. You choose 2 cards from your hand and drop them. And then, at the end of the battle, that one of your rear guards attacked, and it's the 4th battle, you may pay the cost. If you do, you get to stand it. And then his active ability is you counterblast 1 and he gains 2,000 until end of turn. But yeah, so an amazing break ride. I actually really like this deck. I haven't used it that much, but I've had people use it against me quite a bit. So yeah, it's an amazing deck and works really, really well. Probably one of the best right now, even excuse me, even with Link Joker. I'd say it's probably one of the best, although it's hard against Link Joker where you have to get that 4th attack off, and Link Joker's just like, nope, nope, and then you're stuck there all screwed. But other than that, yeah, it's a really amazing deck. But so how it works is you need to have blah, blah, blah. Let me see. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to have Tetra-drive attack attack second. So you need a rear guard to attack first, then he attacks. So then he gets his limit break. But you can't use it until you get a 4th attack. So once you get a 4th attack, then you counterblast 2, drop 2, and he stands. So he's really handy, especially if you break ride as well. That forces your opponent, because it resets the break ride skill. So when the break ride, for what you have to do is you have to drop a card. Your opponent has to drop a card, or else you get a critical. Or else your Vanguard gets an extra critical. So what happens is when you restand it, that effect comes back into play. So they have to drop another card, and then they probably have to guard it. So it's quite a monster with this deck. Probably the best Aqua Force deck out there right now with the release of this thing. Just an amazing card and an incredible deck. Puts on way too much pressure. Jeez. I think probably the best way to counter it would be Link Joker. I think Kagero would still have trouble. Um, but that's just my thoughts because I haven't really seen it fight too many decks. I've just seen it fight a lot because I think I just used because I fought against it a lot. But when I fought against it, I used either Ethics Buster Extreme or Invincible Kaiser or my Coco or just decks I'm used to using. So I'm not exactly sure how it fares to some other ones. Uh, but it's a monster of a deck, and this card just wreaks havoc with the Break Ride. So yeah, about that Break Ride. 4 Blue Flight Dragon, TransCore Dragon, the Break Ride. So if you don't know what it does, limit break 4. When an Aqua Force rise it, choose one of your Vanguards against 10,000, and auto. Um, when your Vanguard attacks, your opponent has to choose a card from your opponent may choose a card from their hand and drop it. And then if they do not, your Vanguard gets a +1 critical, and your opponent cannot guard. Call units to guard until the end of the battle. So that's why most of the time you have to drop a card, because if you want to guard or not, you don't want it to have that extra critical, especially because this deck actually plays 8 critical. And then on top of which, you can't guard. So if you want to guard, you have to drop a card. And then if you want a perfect guard, you have to drop that. And then you have to drop another card for your perfect guard. And then you might have to do it again. Or you might just drop like 2 10k bodies. But that's 6 cards in a turn. It's it's really hectic to any deck. Yeah. So I guess we should move on to the grade 2s. Don't really need to talk about that much more. Where are grade 2s? I've actually lost the grade 2s. So for Tier Knight Lazarus, your 10k bodies. Oh, the cats are fighting. Oh, my cats are fighting. I apologize if you hear them go. Rah! They're gonna have some fun and fight apparently. But yeah, your 4 10k bodies, very important. You want to hit those marks with the boosts. And the way this deck works is, small attacks and everything. But that's the way Aqua Force normally works. But with this one, well, I think that's how it used to work when you used Maelstrom, when the 10k Vanguards were pretty common. But yeah, so you want to use Lazarus. There's no one else you really want to use because your 10k bodies are your preferred ride, and also on top of which they're very helpful in the deck too. I'm not sure really how to explain how they're that helpful, but they are. It's just because of the columns they can make, I guess. That's what it is. It's the columns that they can make and everything. So they're really, really helpful. And then we have 4 Tidal Assault. So with the release of BT13, we have this monster that combos nicely with Tetra-drive. So what his skill is rearguard, auto rearguard. At the end of the battle, that this unit attack the Vanguard. If you have an Aqua Force Vanguard, you get to stand this unit, and it loses 5,000 power until the end of turn. And it can't be used for the rest of the turn. So what happens is you want him to attack 3rd. So if you pull the trigger on Tetra-drive, you give say you pull draw. You give the power to him. So now he's at 14k base. You get him to attack your Vanguard. Your opponent's Vanguard for 14. So they probably either have to guard it or take the hit unless they pull the trigger. Cat bell. And then he restands with minus 5,000, so he's back at 9. And then you boost it, so that's 16 because you're gonna have a 7k booster behind it most of the time. So that's 16. So you get another attack off. That's your 4th attack, and then you get your Vanguard to restand too. So Tidal Assault he's really, really good in this deck, and he also helps keep the Brave Shooters, attacking first, so then they can get the power boost that they normally get as well. So, yeah. You could run Basil, or you don't want to run Diamantes because you need your 4 Tetra, and you need your 4 TransCore. But you could run Basil in all seriousness, for the meta right now, I mean, um, because of how it is, they're all 11k bodies. This is a better decision. So you can attack with 14 and then attack with 16. Um, Instead of attacking with 10, it doesn't hit, and then they switch, and you might not even hit the second one. So it doesn't put as much pressure on, and this card is amazing for pressure, especially with Tetra-drive. It's just crazy pressure. When it was used against me, I was just ready to throw a chair across the room. So it just gives crazy pressure, and it's really handy. And then for the finally, we have 3 Twin Strike Brave Shooter. So it gains when it attacks. If you have Aqua Force Vanguard and number of rear guards you have as rest is 2 or less, he gains 3,000 power. So he's a 12k beater. That's why you want to attack with him first, because if you attack with something else first, then he doesn't really get the boost. So you want to make sure you attack with him first, if he's on the field. But yeah, that's really that. Your 12k beater is pretty important. You actually don't need as many as you only need 3, surprisingly in this deck, just because of how it works, how the deck works. Normally I run 4. I might change it up and run 4, but for now I'm gonna leave it at 3 because you need your 4 Tidal Assaults, and you really do need your 4 Lazaruses. I could take out a lot. You could take out a Lazarus and put in another 12k beater, but you don't really need them that much in this deck. They're important, but you don't need them that much. So 3 is just fine. And on to grade 1s. So 4 Emerald Shield, Paschal, 4 Perfect Guards. And then we have 4 Wheel Assault. Another new card with the release of BT13, of course. So rear guards are auto rear guard, counterblast 1 to the at the end of this battle, this unit boosted. If you have an Aqua Force Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, you choose 2 rear guards and exchange their positions. So he's like a Basil, but he's even better because you can kind of, if you really need that 4th attack and you don't have like Tidal Assault or something, you can have an 11k behind your Vanguard and then get him to switch with someone else. And then, yeah, you get him to switch with someone else. And then, there's your 4th attack. And then on the next turn, you can just get that 1 grade 3 to attack itself. So then when you switch it back, your grade 2 still gets a boost. So it's very handy, and it's very, very helpful to help you get that 4th attack. And is just an amazing card. I play 4 of it because you want to ensure you get that 4th attack. So with 4 Tidal Assault and 4 Wheel Assault, you're pretty much guaranteed your restanding. And then we have 3 Shortstop Brave Shooter. So your 3 10k beaters. Same thing as Twin Strike Brave Shooter. It has to attack if you have 2 or less rear guards as rest. And then it'll gain the 3,000. So he's really handy. You just need 3. You don't need 4. It's cool. I could play 4. I'm debating about it, but for now I like 3 because I like having 3 Flash Signal Light, Penguin Soldier, your last grade 1s. And the reason I want to play 3 of him is because when you break ride on TransCore, when you break ride TransCore and TransCore and then go Tetra-drive, you have enough in the soul to use 2 of them to give you 2 pluses, and they're actually really, really, really helpful to the deck, especially with your dropping that you do too. So yeah, just playing 3 of them I find is better. I could play another 10k beater, but I prefer 3 of these, especially because you get to use 2 of them sometimes. So yeah, and on the triggers. So 8 critical, Battleship Intelligence and Supersonic Sailor. 4 draw, Battle Siren Mallika, your Margol clone. And 4 heal, Ice Floe Angel. So yeah, that's really about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Not too long of a deck profile. Happy about it. 15 minutes. I guess that's the point where I'd be like, it's long, but it's not. So whatever. as always, the deck list of the deck profile will be in the description below. You can go ahead and check that out. And so my Twitter, Skype, and Facebook, you can go and check those out. Remember to like and comment, and go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.